Hi, Philip.
Hello. How come? Let me see. Let me make you make co-host. Here we go.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. We'll wait a few minutes and we'll get started. Linda, great question. Thank you for the question. We're actually in talks with potentially running it again in the late summer, early fall. So thank you for your feedback. It's important. It's good to know that you think there is an interest in running it again.
I do have one question. My parents live in a senior home and they had some AI guy there. I don't know. My mom didn't totally understand it, but it was about using AI as your friend, someone to talk to. What is that?
Just as we've been using the OpenAI to chat with, there are both people using the OpenAI just to chat with and be a like a friend or a sparring buddy.
Okay.
But there's also companies that are putting that inside a nice little app to make it look pretty. But behind the scenes, it's a chat that's been given instructions, like you'll always answer in a friendly manner. You'll always be positive, you'll remember these things about the person, right? And so you give it instructions and it can play that. And there's a lot of experimentation going on right now for companionship, for mental health, for other things. Huge topic with lots of upsides, but also lots of questions as well.
Yeah. It was weird. I wasn't sure how they were going to use it. I'm like, okay, so you're talking to a machine.
Well, in some regards, the sample that we've been using, the RoboPet, as being able to respond to people with AI is that same thing. You could imagine a talking robot dog, and it would same concept.
Okay.
But yeah, we've seen everything from people using it for children in hospitals where they're in the hospital by themselves while waiting for some procedure, can't be there all the time, and all manner of reasons.
Interesting.
Hello. Welcome in. We'll maybe wait a couple more minutes. Thank you for being on time.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
If any of you already have questions from last time or anything else, feel free to type things in the chat. We'll monitor it, and then when we get started, we can address some of those questions too.
Okay. Well, let's why don't we get started? Want me to bring up the slides? You want to bring up the slides, Isabel?
What is easiest for you?
Doesn't matter. I'll make sure. It's fine.
Okay.
Sure. So welcome, everyone. We're happy to see you join us and see who's really gung-ho to get into AI and get over the hurdle of getting on the bike and riding every day to figure out how to use it. That's a part of the biggest battle. This session, we're going to be talking about sales and business development with generative AI. So a little bit of more about prompting around sales in your business, and you'll see how we can do that. There's a chat here. Somebody have a question. Minute. Okay. So from last week we covered. Oh, I forget. I forgot what we covered. Any questions from last?
We covered video content, multimedia content,
Yeah.
social media.
Social media. Yeah.
So anything, if anybody wants to ask any questions, feel free to use the chat or raise your hand. And as usual, feel free to do this along the course today if there is anything that you need clarification on or you have questions on.
Doesn't look like it. So I just share that one of the things that's been most interesting is I've been watching people using, for AI for content and content creation is everybody might have naturally thinks about posting to Facebook or LinkedIn or other situations, but don't forget you may have formal reports, you may be a researcher, you may write, and they may have particular style guides. The AIs are very good at being told use a particular style, and this is the style that I want you to use. So just keep that in mind, that the more instructions you give to the chat, the better your output is. So if you're writing in the APA, proper, American Publishing Association style guide, they can do that. It might be very formal, and we might deviate a little bit and show you a little bit of that too, if people are interested, and just let us know in the chat if that's of interest to you. All right. So I just wanted to bring everybody's attention in preparing for this I was test out the prompts, and I got back a blank screen. And so from the ChatGPT, and anytime that you do that, you can go to the status of Open API, and literally in Google, is Open AI down, is ChatGPT down? And at the time that I was doing it yesterday, there was a major outage. About an hour later, it was working. It just gives you a sense of how many people are using the product, and they're trying to keep up with demand and all the time. So just all right. This slide, I'm not going to read the slide, but I wanted to just emphasize that not all chats are the same. Now, in this course so far, we've been using OpenAI's ChatGPT, but there's other companies out there that offer products and other services. The left-hand side was Cloud, and the right-hand side was Sonar. And literally, this was the same original RoboPet question. Come up with my RoboPet business value proposition. And the only thing I want to draw your attention to is the left-hand side was, here's my business hypothesis, here's the value proposition. But the right-hand side, a different company, it formatted it very differently. It came up with a problem statement, a solution, and then the value proposition, and even had bulletized sections. So for your particular business, at some point you may get to this level of detail and understanding that not everything is exactly the same, right? You could probably get the same quality from either side, but out of the box, without doing anything special, in this case, for this question, Sonar large chat was a better result, or a different result, I should say. So I just wanted to see if any, bring that to people's attention. It's not something we're going to really cover in detail in this, but it's worth noting, just so you have it in the back of your mind. So one of the key things that you can do with the chat is, as you're thinking about your business, is you might need to expand your business and think about what's happening right now. And there's two ways to, generally you might be able to think about that. And one is to look at the customers, the insights that you already have. You may have some customer satisfaction surveys. You may be collecting data from them, and you got all this data from these questions, and you're trying to figure out what it means. You may have, the records of what people have purchased and who they are. And you might want to start looking at, what is my customer worth? And that's, chat can do a lot of that. And some of ChatGPT has some data analytics capabilities in it. We're not going to dig into that too much, but give you a sense of how it can work and what it can do. Switching over to the marketing side, you can similarly look at your trends. If you've got a bunch of surveys that you've gotten, you can ask it, are people getting happier or unhappier over time? And it will actually analyze the data and answer that question for you. So instead of you having to type it into a computer and manually classify it, the ChatGPT can very quickly determine whether something sounds good or sounds bad. And we could probably even do some of that. Competitive forecasting, you can kind of look at your competitor sites and understand exactly what they are saying, what messages they're sending. Maybe they're writing, 10 different articles, and you want the articles summarized and understand what are they selling? What are they pushing? What's their main message? Well, you don't want to read 3,000 word article. You just want the highlights, and you want it put in a context. What's my competitor saying? That's a really good thing. And then similar demand forecasting, if you know what your past has been, ChatGPT can actually predict what it thinks the future is going to look like. Has anybody tried anything around this? This is sort of more of an advanced topic that, we'll give you some ideas here, but I don't see any hands. All right. So every company has some level of sales, and it can be a laborious process. We all have to figure out who our leads are going to be, where we're going to get our leads from. A common thing that companies might do is if you score leads, That's where, oh, did the lead come in from a tweet or from a text, from a phone? Did I meet him at a conference? What industry are they? How big are they? You can literally tell the chat, hey, if somebody, is in this industry, score them this way. If they're this industry, score them that way, and it will do the work. Just think of it, if you could give the task again to an intern with some rules, here's how you read it and then score it. ChatGPT can do that very nicely. And then there's some other techniques to make it even more.
Philippe, we have
Yeah,
a question.
Yeah.
Beverly?
Beverly.
Hi there. Yes, I just unmuted myself. So in answer to your earlier question, I've done some limited trend analysis, but not really gotten super specific with it. I mean, all of the customer insights and things like that, those are kind of the things I'm really looking for. So in that list last week of all the one that has all the different prompts or prompt places to get prompts, is that an area where one can get that immediately?
Yeah.
Or something that has to be designed and customized for each company? Or is it a little bit of both? I guess that would be the question.
Yeah, so there's this, it's a little bit of both. So first off, some of the things that we do as humans, we just so automatically do it, we don't even think about what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Right. You read, for example, in your case, you read a customer survey, you put it in the pile of good, and then you read the next one, you put it in the pile of bad, and then you may count the numbers of things, and you say, that's good enough for what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A larger company might say, no, I need to know like what month this came in and what campaign this came in. So they have a little bit more nuanced needs. They have bigger needs, right? Both
Right.
of them are valid. And the way you then think about your own situation, you have to think about what it is you are actually doing. And then if what part can the AI do for you, that's really easy. So if you're reading something and summarizing it, good and bad, that's a really simple task for AI to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you add on something like a month and a campaign, it's easy for the AI to do. It's usually painful for us humans to record it. Like we're not very good at saying, oh, this comment came from this place at this time, unless we have the computer systems in place to do that.
Right.
Right. So does that sort of start to get at your question there and answer for you?
Well, yes, it does, because this is where I'm seeing what I, based on the experience that I've had with ChatGPT and more generative AI thus far, has been, getting from the general to specific. So maybe I'll ask about some trends that I see in my industries or, whatever it is, but then to get more specific, it really comes down to taking sales data and then inputting it properly through the prompt and then coming up with data that's meaningful to the particular context. So yeah, you answered a question that I basically had, and the key is really in the prompt design. So yeah, it
is, but it's fundamentally, well, let's go back to the large language model is sort of a general knowledge of a lot of things, right?
Right.
So, but you can supplement that general knowledge with specifics about your business.
Okay.
So it can use the specifics of your business and use the general knowledge and generally analyze your situation. So that's really what's happening. The world doesn't have the details about your business. It's your private business. So when you're giving the prompt to, asking those specifics, you have to supply it. Just like even if a consultant came into your business, they would ask for those specifics, and then they would analyze it. So the the chat GPT can be the analyzer for you if you give it the data. Does that help put it into a framework for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, like I said, where I see a lot of this going, at least from my own experiences, it's going to become very customized rather quickly. And I see a lot of opportunity there. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's so exactly. Once and you'll find that you might, depending on how big your company is and how many people are involved, it's worth talking about that. As you learn about the chats and how they work, the bigger the company is, the more challenge you have making sure people are using the chats in the same way.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And so what happens is you start looking for a tool that encapsulates that capability for you. It's beyond this course, but ChatGPT has a way of sort of encapsulating some of that. And if we have time, I'll show you a tool that I've been using personally that does that as well.
Perfect.
And starts to move in that direction. But the industry is completely, it's early, so they're building the tools to solve your problem that you're talking about.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Funnel automation, there's so many things in what a salesperson does. Like they research the person, they look up their profile, they prepare questions, they prepare for an interview. Chat is fantastic at doing that. There's a lot of things that get typed into a CRM system. And how many of you have read somebody else's notes in a CRM in a database, and you just can't understand what the person said? And so using ChatGPT to rewrite somebody's notes and almost always have it rewritten gets rid of all the acronyms that people write or the shortcuts that they write and makes it legible and understandable to something else. So that's a really good use case for sales organizations, sales notes, even medical notes, transcription notes. Really cool. There's lots of places where we have chats, like we have a chat in here. How many of you have gone to a webinar and people type in their LinkedIn, their email, and their phone number? Yeah. So you could literally cut, copy, and paste the chat and say, give me a list of all the people's names and their phone number and their LinkedIn if they provided it, and give it to me in a CSV file so I can import it to my database. Easy breezy for it. And of course, sales training, like we developed this course using prompting to help us come up with a structure and do some of the basic prompting for us. The third area that companies, when they're thinking about expanding their business, building their business or revenues beyond sales and marketing, is, expanding into new markets. Because ChatGPT has such a wide range of general knowledge, it's actually pretty good at helping you identify other markets, adjacent markets, similar markets, niches. It can even estimate the different sizes. So it'll say this is bigger than that. It won't give you the exact number. It won't say this market size is $2.8 billion. It'll be guessing, but it can certainly say this is the biggest market, and this is the second biggest market, and this is the third biggest market. And then you can do your Googling to get the exact numbers, but it generates ideas really, really fast. In like the first episode, we showed you how it can translate from one language to another. So you're suddenly no longer limited to being a single language company. So you can expand beyond your your usual way of doing things. And then with phones, the ability to speak in a phone and it translates for you. You can start thinking about, hey, I don't know Spanish. I speak broken Spanish, so I could actually service Spanish customers with the use of a phone and AI. So it completely changes the way you think about things.
On that note, Philippe, I just wanted to add something and maybe also get your thoughts on that. Sometimes I get the question because I do a lot of bilingual work and about should I use ChatGPT, in English or in French, for example, and in when it doesn't really matter, I would say you're not doing a new market or something like that. Keep in mind that if you use a different language to interact with the chat, you could be much more limited in the efficacy or results. Actually, some countries have launched specific AI tools. So I think in France there is one. So I think that's one thing to consider, right, Philippe? Let's say if you do a lot of work in Mexico, for example, you may want to use or be careful that thinking, right, that if you interact with the chat itself in Spanish, because that's maybe your most language that you like to use, you might not get exactly the same results, right?
Yeah, yes. So the way most of the models came about is starting with English, and the most information was consumed in English, and then other languages layered on top with translation back and forth. So Isabel brings up a good point. If you're in a particular country, if that country has their own national large language model, it's always worth using both that country's model and another model to understand the differences of the knowledge, right? Because if it's trained on the French have their own language, they protect the language, they want to have that cultural focus. And so the responses of that model would be very different than, say, the responses of just an English-only model. It's very important. We already talked about for new products of the A/B testing for websites, but you could literally say, here's two products that I'm thinking about. Create two feature sets that people might be interested in, and then use that for surveying people. Again, there's nothing inherently limiting on ChatGPT. What's generally limiting is how we forget to use it to chat with and think about it. And to Beverly's original point, learning how to ask the questions is simply learning about your business, like what's important to your business. If forecasting is important, you're going to learn how to use chat to ask questions around forecasting. If delivering new products is important to your business, you're going to learn how to use language around new product development for your business and chatting. So there's nothing really mysterious. It's just simple, straightforward.
Okay, I was just going to clarify, Philippe, maybe not everybody is familiar with the customer journey mapping. So just in case, if nobody wanted to raise their hand about this,
that's a good.
This is we talked about persona a little bit before. So for some of you who may not be extremely familiar with marketing terms, so persona, right, is when we define the customer and we talk about their habits, what they may want to do. So we define key customers in that regard. Customer journey mapping is something we do, especially right now with the notion of inbound and outbound marketing, trying to understand what are the most likely paths for a customer to engage with your brand or your company or your service, right? So trying to understand, and ideally what path you want them to take. That's why we use the word journey, from, doing a search on Google, for example, or seeing an ad on Facebook, how they may come in, and then what is the next best action you want them to take. And today with digital marketing and now AI enhancing it, you can really have a lot of influence on this customer journey mapping. So again, if you need us to clarify other terms in the, let us know. But I just wanted to define that a little bit for everybody.
All right. So let's share back again. Wrong. Too many chat GPTs open, so I got the wrong chat GPT. And let's do this one. Here we go. So again, just as Isabel was talking about, what is a customer journey, you can always ask the chat, like, what's the customer journey and why should I care?
You probably get a better answer than mine anyway, right?
Well, it's you get a different answer. Yeah, there's no right or wrong. Sometimes we have to talk through things everybody learns differently. Some people listen, some people do. So there's whatever works for you, leverage that. Won't go into that too much detail, but so what we're going to do is we've been using the RoboPet as an example. And by the way, I did use AI to create this picture of a RoboPet for senior living facilities. So let's look at that, and we'll share with you all of the homework things with prompts that we can go into. As a reminder, there's the apps directory. Did anybody use the apps directory to start looking for tools, or too much information and didn't bother? Beverly looked. Thank you. And then Synthesia with creating your own little video AI avatars, or Recraft with creating logos. All right. So the prompt that I'm using is make sure this is big enough. We have been selling our RoboPet to a few high-end, all-inclusive senior living facilities, but having difficulty expanding. What other markets should I consider? Now you'll notice in this prompt that we put this thing called About RoboPet, and it's a description of my business. So for your own situation, this is a best practice for using a chat. You sort of ask the question, and if there's some background information the chat needs, you would provide it following the basic chat. So let's just copy this. And it's exactly what, it's just formatted different. It's exactly what the chat gave us the first time we used it when we asked. Just make a new chat. All right. So what's remarkable is I'd probably have to spend a few, 15, 20 minutes in front of a whiteboard thinking through all the areas that I might consider. And it comes up with a pretty reasonable list, instead of just high-end facilities, home care for seniors. So it changed where the facility is. It suggested assisted living and memory care facilities. So people that have Alzheimer's, right? Suggested hospitals and rehabilitation centers, mental health facilities, children's hospitals for young patients, special needs schools and centers. I would have never have thought about that. Veteran care, I probably would have thought about veteran care facilities. Hospice care, possibly. Loneliness and isolation initiatives. So community programs focused at combating loneliness and social isolation. Educational institutions, therapy research, corporate wellness programs, pet therapy. Does anybody have a business that they'd like to see what chat says that they should do? All right.
Now, I just wanted to add for my business, I'm in composting and permaculture industry. I've been playing with ChatGPT. What I understood is like once it gives us the list, and if we add, hey, can you give me a list of non-traditional industries as well, then it will give us other industries. Like right now it's not talking anything about alternative medicine sector where people are experimenting with new varieties of medicine. So when I give that prompt of can you give me non-traditional industries as well, it's popping more.
Yes.
If I'm not saying that, it's not giving me the non-traditional ones, but if I say can you give me non-traditional ways in different parts of the world people are using these kind of services, then it's thinking out of the box more and giving me other initiatives or industries.
Yeah, very, very, very good point. It's very similar to when you do a Google search. You know, Google search gives you the most common things, right? And sometimes we have to dig to get to the less common. And so when you first ask chat, it's going to give you the most common things. If you, just like you said, if you want things that are not common, you have to prompt it. So if we just did, you know, I'm interested, I think loneliness and isolation are interesting. What exactly is that? And what are all? So I just took what you suggested, you know, I just chatted with it. I think loneliness and isolation are interesting. What exactly is that? And what are some niche markets or non-traditional markets I should consider? So pretty remarkable, right? Remote and rural communities, disaster relief and emergency shelters. I don't think I would have thought of that. Prisons, maybe I might have, you know, homeless shelters, transitioning military places and deployments, retirement communities, adult living, that's where we started from, hospitality industry, tech savvy customers, pet allergic or adverse households, corporate giving and wellness programs, camps, cruise ships, and travel hour tours. Tours as a companion for solo travelers. Co-living spaces. So thank you for sharing that. That was a something to add to the next time we teach the course.
Yeah, using non-traditional or unconventional word just opened up so much for me with the AI. I'm like, wow, we don't even think about these things. For example, when we just did this prompt, I'm thinking about, wow, what if we can give this robo-pet to people that just came out of Ukraine and they suffered in the war? Maybe they lost their family. And what if we can use this robo-pet in those locations, but that not the mainstream traditional way for a business thinking that way?
Right. We'll add that to our homework there for you. You can continue along the same lines, right? You can continue to ask the chat questions. So we're going to ask, what are some key challenges of, since we were starting with the exclusive senior living facilities, maybe I want to go to middle incomes living facilities. And so I'm going to ask about, challenges. Yeah, let's stop this. So, of course, budget comes up as a consideration, right? Challenge, the need, limited staff, caregiver burnout might be an issue for middle income facilities. So the tools might be able to help the staff, right? And you can just ask. The point being, just keep asking different questions. And I even asked the question a little bit differently. Ask the challenges. What can I expect will be the biggest issues in marketing to this segment? Oh, sorry. Yes. Right. So, of course, budget constraints, perceived value. So, but now I know some of the issues. How should I market to overcome number 2, perceived value? Right. Focus on tangible benefits and long-term value. Highlight the long-term savings. Provide calculations. Again, a good marketing agency probably would work through these ideas and come up with some things. But frankly, for the cost of a few pennies and a little bit of time, you're probably as good as the first few hours of the consultant's time, and really be able to engage a little bit more effectively as to what you want to do for your business. Show the benefits. Leverage demonstrations, have free trials for middle income folks. Highlight the features and benefits. Quality of life improvements. Make sure you have content. You can even talk about so we talked about the customer journey. So can you map this to a customer journey and sales funnel for me? No, we should. Is everybody familiar with what a customer journey is and a sales funnel is? I can only see a few. Let's see. Chats. See if I missed anybody.
There's nothing in the chat.
Okay. All right.
No.
So it's mapped out. Okay. So
wait, Phil. Yeah, Andrea
yeah,
wants to explain.
Yeah, I wonder.
You want me to talk about the sales funnel a little bit?
Yeah, we should probably pull up the slide.
The other slide that
Yeah.
I have it, yeah, or we can
Yeah, you can
have
talk about it and I'll see if I can find the slide.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, in traditional sales and marketing, there is the concept of the funnel, right? So you target the most people up there in the funnel, and then eventually you take them down your funnel towards the final point, which is conversion. But of course, you're kind of losing some people along the way. So for example, the first step for a brand or a product is awareness. So sometimes you also hear the funnel with the acronym AI, IDA, or, like awareness, interest, consideration, and purchase or decision, or sometimes, the letters change. But basically, the concept is quite simple, right? So let's say, for example, I'm, driving on the freeway and I'm seeing some billboards for tennis shoes, right? So, this is an example. So I'm saying tennis shoes because this is the slide we use to talk about that, right? So, right. So I'm seeing, new products, new tennis shoes. It kind of gets me excited, but maybe at the moment I'm not totally ready to go buy new tennis shoes. My shoes are probably fine, but I'm seeing all these ads on TV, anywhere, and magazines. I'm like, okay, I know Nike has launched these amazing shoes, maybe one day, right? But I'm aware that they exist. Now, maybe a week later, I'm starting to think, these shoes are not that great. I'm going on my run and I'm seeing they're getting a little used. Maybe it would be time for me to change my tennis shoes. Well, like my brain, right, subconsciously probably remembers I've been seeing some ads on tennis shoes recently. So basically, I'm starting to have some interest in maybe looking more into tennis shoes. And then maybe again, a few days later, I'm like, you know what? Now I decided I'm pretty certain I want to buy new shoes. So now I'm in consideration mode where I'm probably going to do my research. Maybe I'm going to visit some local running stores, try on some shoes, or maybe I'm just going to shop online or do both. But eventually I'm going to do my research and kind of figure out which shoe I'd rather buy, knowing that, some of the ads I've seen earlier on may influence me or not. And then finally, I'm going to get in purchase mode, which is what you want eventually from your potential customers, is that they end up doing a transaction with you. But again, it doesn't stop here, because your current customers are usually, for most companies, the most profitable ones. So keeping your customers engaged, loyal, that's why a lot of companies have loyalty programs, like airlines and so on. Keeping them engaged with your brand means that maybe eventually the funnel goes the other way here on the right-hand side, which is the customers who already like you and do business with you. You can sell them new and upgraded products, for example. So, premium products. You can cross-sell them, which means selling other related products. So maybe if I bought Nike tennis shoes now, I'm going to end up buying Nike apparel as well, right? So there is basically, the idea is the customer stays with your brand, but also starts spending a lot more money. And then the best marketing tool of all is really the referral and the word of mouth. So also, as you can see here at the end, right, the big reward is when your customers are happy with your brand, with your product, they tell other people. And that's definitely, again, by far the most effective marketing tactic. So the funnel kind of goes back and, with other customers. I would just say, as a slight caveat, is in the digital world, the funnel has changed a little bit, because now, a lot of people really start with interest or consideration. And even if you've seen some ads, you've seen so many. So, marketers today also look at things like customer journey maps, as we mentioned, because there are a lot of different points around awareness, interest, consideration. And now a lot more customers are also used on going on Google or Amazon or things like that for something we need at the moment. So it's a little bit more of an impulse type of behavior, but without making it too complicated. That's what we mean by the funnel. So it's the same with sales as well, right? You may have leads and prospects that you're targeting, let's say on, would you like to talk about how I can help you? You may have received some of these messages. That's really top of the funnel. But then when you start, the person may respond and say, yes, please connect with me, call me, I want to talk more about what you offer. Then you're starting going down the funnel, and eventually your hope is that you will get that person to transact with you, become a customer. So that's why the concept of the funnel is related to the shape of the funnel itself.
Right.
Isabel, I have a question.
Yes.
My question is this, is that with your explanation of the chart of the funnel, it was very helpful. So now if I was to review that same diagram maybe about a week from now, and I can only see the diagram without the dialogue that you use to explain it, it doesn't have the same effect. And when we review our lessons, we only are allowed to be able to see the slides, correct?
There is a recording. So in the follow-up email I send, there is also a recording available on the YouTube link that you can see. And that's probably where also ChatGPT can probably enhance that if you're seeing a slide without enough explanation and say, hey, can you explain to me the marketing funnel? I'm sure you'll get some, maybe AI can actually answer that question like Philip did earlier when you looked up that.
I'm going to, so I'm going to actually, if you'd like, I'm going to show that for people, showing how you can add images now. Let me just export this one slide. Export.
Doug, you want to say something in the meantime?
Yeah, to answer his question, think about when you go to a store, you see an ad for something you want, you go to the store, you look around, a salesperson talks to you, you find what you want, you go pay for it. Well, the sales funnel is exactly the same thing, except the store is non-existent. The store is your computer. Think of it that way. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So it's just, so the customer experience is similar, except there's no physical store and no salesperson. Everything you're doing is online, but it's essentially the same process as going to a store and buying an item.
I see there was another question too. As you're doing this, Philip, I was going to answer it about partnering businesses at the top of the funnel. So I would say it really depends on your tactic and overall strategy for sales or marketing. Partnerships can be a very powerful strategy. Again, what's more important, in my opinion, is to come up with a strategy and some focus on why partnerships may play a role in finding customers, right? So if that's the case, yes, partnership with other businesses can be a really effective strategy. It can be top of the funnel for lead generation or others. So Musa, if you want to, chime in or give a little bit more context to your question, we can also answer it maybe a little bit more deeply, but hopefully that answers your question.
So you kind of triggered, I hadn't thought about this, that the ChatGPTs are able to read images. So I literally just uploaded the image of the slide, and then I asked, please explain this slide, right? And it's saying, this customer journey, sales framework, and it goes through and explains it. And it's pretty accurate. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Has anybody else experimented with uploading images and asking it to interpret an image for you? Yeah. I'll have to add that to the next class. Give some examples. So if you even have sometimes you go to an event and you have a list of customers or the attendees, but it's on it's literally on a document, piece of paper. We can take a screenshot, it's an image, a picture with our phone, load it up to ChatGPT, and it'll extract all the names for you. You don't have to do any more typing. And it's better than a lot of the phones can read them, can see the words, which is great, but it can't put it into columns. So the ChatGPT can both read the words and put it into columns for you. So you could just then, put it into a spreadsheet or load it into your CRM system. Right. Let's see, we should probably give people, we should probably just do a break and do a
Yes.
breakout session.
Yeah.
Because I've been talking for a little bit and probably tired of my voice. So we should, so what we'd like you to do in the breakout session is talk about your own business. And I'd like you to just think about how would you expand your own business, right? And do yourself a favor, write your own ideas down on your piece of paper as you're doing this. And then later ask ChatGPT the same question and find out who did a better job. Did you do a better job in the breakout session talking to people, or did using ChatGPT do a better job for you? Talk about potential new customers, and then we can come back and share how many people we have. We have 32, so 6. We'll make 6 groups. Where's the breakouts? What do we want to do? 15 minutes? 20?
Yes, I think 15 is probably good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Let's
6.
say 18. I think last time the feedback was they want, if we do 6, everybody wants enough time to participate. So maybe we do 18 minutes would be 3
or
minutes.
We can do 4 to 5 people. We'll do 6.
Yeah, we could do that too.
Yeah, let's do 4 to 5, and then people have more time for questions with us.
Okay.
All right, so. And I'll set.
Do you want to copy the questions in the chat, Philip, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Broadcast message. Looks like everybody's there.
I'm gonna go in 7 as on one person.
All right, it looks like 6 only has 3. I'll join them. I saw you only had 3 come over here, so I figured I'd join.
Oh, goody. And our team is a little slow unmuting. Well, I'll start.
Go ahead.
I'm with Aquamotion Ability Foundation. We do a water aerobics program. And we already have a building and expansion plan. And our goal is to build a aquatic facility in Riverside for senior citizens, people with disabilities, physical therapy, and drowning prevention. So I've already taken a class. I went, I wonder how much AI they used for that class, because they really had thought out every possible thing that we could do with our programming. But I do know that in going to meetings around town and stuff, that I definitely want to do a veterans program. I want a veterans water aerobics class. We have a cancer class right now that's so powerful with all these cancer victims who bond and connect. And I think you could put a bunch of other things too. You could do mental health water aerobics classes, the veterans, of course, diabetes, heart disease. So there's just so many elements. So I don't know how else I guess I can put it in and see if they have any other great ideas on top of those.
Yeah, so those are all, I'd say those are fantastic. As you were talking, I wanted to sort of suggest, though, your human intuition about needing to connect with people and create the bonding situations. The
Mhm.
chat can talk about it. It can't really, it doesn't have the wisdom or the understanding. It's just a dumb computer.
Right.
So that's where I always think the human in the loop is really good. And as you think through what is it, some of the heavy lifting, like what should be my marketing, what should be my messages for my newsletter, what are they, would they be interested in? Those are great to shorten your thinking, and but then
Mhm.
you execute on it, right?
Right.
It's not gonna do it for, do that for you yet.
On it.
Eventually, though, it'll get to the point where you have your brand, do all the images the same way. The more you feed in about what your brand tone is, like
Mhm.
I want the emails to be, informative, collegial, friendly, a bit of humor, whatever that is.
Mhm.
When you write it, it can draft out things based with that tone.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. I did put in and ask for an email. Oh no, a news article. I want to write a news article about our problems in the city, that kids are more important than senior citizens having pool time. And oh my gosh, it was hilarious because it had used every water word you can think of, and it was just almost corny. We're going to have a splashing to good time, and you've been buoyed to be here. And it was hilarious. So like, I absolutely never would send that to the press, but it did have some good sentences in it that I could pull out, but it was quite comical.
Yeah, very nice. Did Mia and Gowrie join us yet?
I see their names.
I'm here, but I'm trying to um I'm trying to convert to my laptop, and I'm in the main room trying to figure out how to get to room 6. Any suggestion?
In the main room.
I'm on my phone with you now, but I'm trying to log in on my laptop, and I'm in the main room with appears to be Brian and somebody else.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I need to, oh wait, let's see. Host says open breakout rooms. Please wait to be assigned.
All right. Let me go back to the main room and assign you.
Okay.
I don't think you got
Thank you.
assigned. Let's see. Breakout rooms. Hang on. Let's see. I think I can. Mia. Oh, I can assign you.
Yeah.
Assign you
Okay.
to this one. Assign you to 6. Oh, assign to.
Okay. Oh, it says, who's Isabel?
Oh, weird.
I'm getting invited to join Isabel.
Oh,
Let me reject Isabel and wait for,
yeah.
oh, join. Wait, you can have it
Let me
assigned.
find you, Mia. Move to. That's you there.
Well, we can hear you really good on your phone.
Yeah.
I know. I was moving around and now I'm stable. So I need to, I don't want to, I'm like literally holding my phone. I don't want to hold my phone anymore. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's only giving me 3 to join though.
Ryan. Oh, because I know it's confusing me because there's 2 views. So let me move this other one. Move to 6. There we go.
Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, I'm gonna log out of here now.
Did you say your name, Gowrie?
Yeah, my name is Gauri, and I have a consulting company. I'm pretty new to using ChatGPT, so I'm learning how to use it. So not much progress from my side.
In learning it, what's been your biggest struggle so far?
No, I'm following it. I'm not using it for my company. I have to use it.
Okay.
I think for me, it's asking the right questions and dialing down. I'm so glad it says, do you have a follow-up question or whatever, something like that? Because I feel like I I feel like I don't ask the right question in the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a common thing because it gives you it gives you a response, right? And you know, if I asked my friend for advice and he gave me a perfectly good answer, and I looked at him and says, I don't understand what you said, like that would be my immediate response. But for some reason, the computer types it, and I don't want to go, you idiot, that didn't make sense to me. Can you explain it again? Or what do you mean by that? Right? And that's, I think, the training that we have to go through to kind of learn a little bit of that it can respond very naturally. And in probably, you know, the next version, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, it'll be even more responsive that way. Mia, what about you?
All right, what's the question?
Are you using the Chat GPT or any
Okay.
AI,
So
and what's your experience has been?
I feel like, so I've been using chat to GPT, good Lord, since 2022. So I'm like, what else is there at this point? I've used it enough to where I feel like I don't want to use it anymore because I feel like the answers that I get are so similar when the questions I ask are completely different. There's some things that I don't like about it. It's interesting because I'm working on a redeveloping my business plan, and the consultant that I'm working with, I just told her I wrote a mission statement, and then I put the mission statement that I wrote in Chat GPT, and I said, can you reduce this mission statement to 2 paragraphs and sharpen it up? You know, I was just curious to see if it knew what it meant. And so it produced my same mission statement plus an extra sentence that it added somewhere in there. But it was interesting to see that it produced my own written work. And the consultant, she's like, well, I guess you don't need Chat GPT. Does it mean you're just as good or better than Chat GPT? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't detailed enough in the question, but it didn't give me a whole lot. So I am now looking at more specific AI tools, such as curriculum development, so a platform for that. I'm also looking at, I'm interested in, like, I think the Recraft was introduced in our last session, and I played around with that, and it was kind of neat because I do need a logo. But I feel like so far what I'm getting there is it's too cartoonish for me. Robo something, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but it was neat to be able to describe what I want. It hit it right on the nail. Like, it was like, wow, that's exactly what I wanted. But it just looked too cartoony.
Yeah, yeah, but
So,
you can still use those concepts and give them to somebody on Upwork that's a proper graphics designer, and you can more easily describe what you're looking for. So those are things that shorten down. I don't think that it's I've rarely seen the AI give you what you know, a perfect solution from just a singular prompt.
mhm.
With that said, there's many use cases where it does, right? Where it
Right.
does give a perfect prompt because of what you're doing. In the case of mission statements, the parts that's missing is if you were talking to a branding company or a marketing company, they would sit down and go through an exercise like, what's your core principles, what's your values, what's the tone, who's your customer, and that consultant is synthesizing all that information. So then when they write the document, they're going, oh, is this an uplifting mission statement? Does it, and it lists all the adjectives. Now, if you then went to ChatGPT and said, here's what I've written, but I need it to be, and list all the odds, I need it to be uplifting, I need to be focused
Right.
for this, it would do a pretty darn good job, right? That's a like a rejiggering or rewriting or copy editing. You have to tell it what copy editing you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the prompt, I hate to say prompt engineering because it sounds like you have to be an engineer. In fact, you just need to be a good liberals art major, right?
Right.
So I hate the word prompt engineering. I just hate it. That's not what it is. It's good thinking and good marketing and good liberal art skills. Yeah. So we're supposed to discuss, let's see here, those are the
Potential new
expansions,
customers.
new customers. Yeah. Well, you already talked about all the different market segments that you were going after. Have you thought about how you thought vets was the one you wanted to target next?
It's definitely, my problem is now I need to build the pool first. So my program is maxed out where I'm at. I can't grow any bigger because there is no more pool space.
Got it.
So my main thing is, well, making sure every class has got a waiting list, one, so that then as I promote to sponsors and get grants and talk to community leaders about building a pool, I can say, I've got the people, I just need the help with the building. So,
Right.
so my reaching out to the people that I need to reach out to.
Yeah.
In order to.
So that's where I would almost craft your marketing guidance, like what are your mission, your vision, your core principles,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you write the letters, you could say, please write a letter to this persona who is a blah blah blah, a government official or
That
whatever.
is exactly what I just did.
And then here are my guidelines, and then it will write the letter because it knows here's the guidelines and here's the person. So you give the chat the persona of the person, which is always good. And if you don't know the persona, you can always download the person's LinkedIn and ask ChatGPT to create a persona from the LinkedIn.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and I did put my sponsor packet and my email through, and you were talking about your mission statement. You were great at with AI, better than AI. And my email was really good. It only corrected like 2 things on the entire email. I'm like, woo, I did so good. Now on the sponsor packet, it fixed a bunch of things, because a lot of things, it gave me all kinds of great suggestions. So I really honed it down, shortened it. It was much more concise. But I still had all the elements that you're supposed to have in a sponsor.
Yeah. So one of the things I often do with content is I'll say, what are the pros, what are the cons, and what are the logic errors? And it does a remarkably good job of that. I have literally used it with a company. They were presenting to the board of directors their new strategy and said, here's the strategy. And it said, what about this? And it was a huge miss. It would be like you, I'm going to build a new pool. I'm going to talk to public officials, but I'm not going to talk to the health department. Like that's about what it was. And it picked up on it. So it was really remarkable.
Oh, that's cool.
I think probably got a couple more minutes.
Well, I've been fascinated by the whole thing. I'm brand new to all this, and that's all I talk about now. Anybody who talks to me, oh my God, you got to check this out. And I was just telling my husband about all the sales stuff you just gave me. I'm like, oh my God, Jeff, you got to check this out. Because I think, I don't know if their company's doing this, but pretty amazing.
I have a quick question. Maybe you can save me some time from going back to the slides so that I was in the last meeting at work and left my notes on the desk, but there were a few sites shared, and there was one in particular that was exclusively for curriculum development. Do you recall what that one was?
Oh, I think I saved those.
If it probably just in the app when I was going through the app.
It was like a long list of like all these different. Some
Oh,
were like it had dollar amounts, I want to say, like if you wanted to
yeah, so
purchase.
that was the app the app directory. So
Mhm.
that was the AI app directory, and
Okay.
I just selected education for that, and then it gave you all the tools that did education.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll probably close the rooms here. I'll head back in 60 seconds. Any last minute questions, comments, or things? I'm going to show you one other thing. We'll go back on. No, I already did that. White tools.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
All right. All right, everybody have a good chat.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Who wants to share, right?
Yeah.
We have a few minutes.
Yeah. Anybody?
One of the things we talked about in our group is we had three colleagues there, and one of them is in medical, and another is in childcare, and then the other one is in actually navigation technology. And so one of the things we talked about was the trade-off and balance between safety and security, as along with privacy, how there's a tension between those. Now that's not particular to the topic, but that was certainly a theme that emerged. How do we balance that? Because whenever you want safety and security, there's often a privacy trade-off. But we also talked about how you want to start with a beachhead, figure that out, prove it, and then you can figure out if you expand geographically or if you explore other segments subsequently using customer diagnostics and analytics via AI to so do.
And what I want to point out, Steve, is that's precisely why we want to do, we don't want to give up our humanity and do the breakout sessions and talk to other people, because the chat is just you talking to the computer and it just doesn't spark those extra ideas. And so as much as I am a big proponent of AI, think it's fantastic, take away some of the drudgery, it lets us be more human but we have to recognize the humanity that's really important.
We are undeniably tactile and social beings.
Absolutely. Beverly, you have a comment.
I do. So regarding the privacy issue, so the new reality is that we're going to pay for privacy, or at least that's been my observation. Like with ChatGPT, if you pay, I think it's $30 a month, all of your chats can be private. So I think, and as we go along, I think that's probably going to be what's going to be happening. So if you have something, confidential, be it medical info or, a new business concept or something, there is an ability to do that where it is not public, and then you can also go to your settings. So that's something to consider at any rate.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else? Any other groups?
Anybody else?
Oh, you put them in a big group and they get quiet. Oh, that's funny. Oh,
Linda, Linda
has
wants to
something.
say
Unmute
just
yourself.
unmute.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to know when is the next group starting, because I missed so much of this class. I got too much going on.
So we'll have to announce dates. We haven't come up with dates for the next sessions, but thank you for be willing to come back.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next group should be more advanced than this group, right? Because I can still go through the emails and catch up on the classes that I missed, right? I can catch up on everything and be ready for the next group, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's cool. Thank you. And I sure appreciate you guys taking time out of y'all busy schedule to teach us this stuff.
You're welcome. All right. The only thing I just share the homework or the document we created for you to help you. So this will go out to everybody along with the videos, which will be on YouTube. It usually takes us a little bit. Linda, yeah, you got another question, Linda? Unmute.
Yes, this is our last group, or do we have one more group?
One more.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the next one is going to be we're going to try to focus on the operational side of things, the cost side of the business, and look at how ChatGPT might help with the cost side of things. Prema.
I'm just wondering, like, if will we touch on mind mapping with AI, or is that can be a different session? Because I'm looking into that, how generative AI is creating mind maps with the minimal input. And if for businesses, it seems like they're really helpful. If I have a business idea, how can we map it out?
Yeah, we haven't covered that in this, but yeah, we could probably, get you started today. Maybe we got a little bit of time, and anybody can put it in the chat and see what happens. For all of the prompts are listed in green. Go ahead and try them, whatever you like. In many cases, I put, about my company. Either if you're following along and using the RoboPet, the RoboPet stuff is here. But if you're using your own company, of course, substitute your own company for the RoboPet. Covers each of the sections. Try at your convenience. No, nothing hard. And so there's several different sections here. I even did it so that it was really I'm very curious to see. This was what I did. I'm giving a class on ChatGPT users. I'm covering the following topics, right? And then the follow-on questions is like, I'm interested in, this prompted on sales automation. So then I asked, tell me about sales automation. So I gave this more this week. It's more of a self-select, and instead of me telling you which topic you should be interested in, you get to explore all the topics for your own business and ask chat, how would I use sales forecasting for my business, right? If that's what you're interested in. So the issue is not to follow the prescription, but to start chatting with the chat on the topics that are important for your business. And that We'll stick around for questions and anything else. But it's been our privilege to be guides on this journey as we all learn how to use AI together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Just had a quick question.
Sure.
At the end of this, because we are talking about Chat GPT most, would you say that at the end of this, we're going to have, in a sense, a little farm system with Chat GPT plus HubSpot plus, I don't know, Microsoft Copilot? Is that what you're finding in your own discovery of, even working and putting this together, that you come up with some standard tools because there are so many out there? Will you have a fixed amount of tools depending on your business? How do you see we should come away from this training?
Great question. Yeah, the first is to get comfortable with what the AI is capable of doing from a chat perspective, right? So that you have a general understanding of what it can do, so that you have a basis to then evaluate those different tools. Certainly HubSpot, for example, is trying to build the AI into the tool so you never have to leave it. But the reality is HubSpot is really good for your customer management and some of your workflow. And depending on how much you've customized it or how important it is for your business, maybe the HubSpot AI is good enough. But HubSpot, for example, doesn't create content. So the question is, if content's important to your business, what is going to be your AI strategy for content? HubSpot's really good at managing conversations and sales and other things, but you can start thinking, what about how do I plan for going to a conference, right? HubSpot's not going to really help you plan for a conference. What was the chat?
Are you saying that ChatGPT does all of that then?
Well, ChatGPT is a general purpose product.
Right.
And so it does a lot of things, but each of us has a specific business, and as you get more, you might find that it's limited in what it can do.
Okay.
Like if I was building a business, like I showed you the Synthesia, the video avatar stuffs. So if my business was to deliver training materials and I wanted an introductory class, I might use an AI to completely deliver that, right? That could be a solution. But so you still have to think about your own business and put the tools together. But you should have enough basis to see what works for you.
Last quick question. Thanks so much. At the end of each of the workshops, it asks if you want to be contacted by you guys.
Yeah.
And so what would happen if we engage and go from there? Is it just more of a targeted workshop in helping each business, further use AI to help their business?
Good question. This is through the University of California, Riverside, the SBDC program, and that is we're funded by your government dollars to help small and mid-sized businesses, and we provide one-on-one coaching and consulting to businesses. The university, and we have multiple offices across the Southland. Isabel and I are associated with UC Riverside, so we tend to get involved with those companies that are more scientific, medical, engineering, something that would come out of a university. But we have sister organizations that would deal with companies that are more what we would call Main Street business. Maybe somebody's opening a hair salon or a motorcycle store, a community pool. They provide coaching for that. As far as specific advice on AI, we don't yet have that's something we're going to take back to the team to say, hey, there's interest in specific help on AI.
So if your company is technological, then we can reach out to you and see if there's a fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you're not technological, we'll help you find the SBDC that is the right fit for you. Right.
Great.
We have specialists that are, they're fantastic at restaurants, right? We have specialists that have been in the agricultural field. We've got more than 100 different consultants across Southern California. And so matching you up might be, finding the right person, understanding your business and matching you up.
Okay, that's great. And when would we have that conversation after all this is done? Just reach out and at that point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. And especially if we don't get to you, certainly feel free to reach back if you don't get contacted or something.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Any other question?
I have something for share. I was doing, I asked to ChatGPT about my new business and to do a survey, right? And I discovered that for my old business, one time I did a survey and took me like 3 hours maybe. And in a second already gave me the title and all the questions for make a survey spectacular. So for my new business. So like that.
Great.
So that is great.
Great
Nice.
to hear.
You got 2 hours back to work on your business. Fantastic. Go sell.
Right? Now I can go and relax.
Nice. And then Court.
I get a couple of different emails. I get one from Isabel and then I get one from the cohort. Which one has the attachment for the recording?
Mine. So that would be from me, Pepe. And the one from last week, you had it, I think Monday. For this week, I'll probably send it out Friday or Monday again.
Okay.
Once it's uploaded.
Yeah, I think it's Codrin or Codrin. You had a question about uploading an image. Did you see the where I uploaded the sales funnel?
No, I must admit, I saw the sales funnel. I just didn't see you upload it.
Let's see if it's still in the window here. Share.
Like I saw it displayed, I just didn't see.
Yeah,
oh, you did it.
Yeah. So this was literally an uploaded image. On the ChatGPT, you click on the paperclip, and it'll let you upload from your computer, Google Drive. And in this case, we took the slide that Isabel was presenting. And I just said, please explain the style. This is an image. It's an actual image. And it read it and explained it.
Oh, that's awesome. I missed that part. I know attachments, I have attached like doc files and stuff, but never an image. I didn't know it could do that.
Yeah, so the perfect use case is, one of the common ones. You go to an event, there's a list of presenters at the conference, and you take a photograph with your phone, right? And yeah, you can use the phone to extract all the text, but it's all gobbledygook. But you can literally upload the image and say, grab all the names and titles of these people, right? And it'll put it in a nice little tabular form for you, so you can save a lot of time.
That's real nice. And we are meeting next week too, right? Because
next week is the last event. So if you feel free if you have questions that are off topic, but still in the AI space, and we'll Isabel and I will do our best to help you. We're here to help.
And then as far as like you guys are, do you guys have like a physical location, or is it just all virtual? Like for the SB.
So yes and yes. So Isabel and I are 99% virtual.
Got it.
but there are physical offices. I think COVID caused them to shrink radically.
No, I'm just asking because I'm right next to the campus, so.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Well, no more questions, huh?
Thank you for your
Thank you.
participation, and look forward to seeing all of you next week.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.
You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.